Here we are towards the end of September, and it's definitely starting to feel like autumn here in the UK. The leaves are starting to fall off the trees and go brown. The nights are drawing in, and it's getting a little bit colder. I've got some autumnal tones here to help pick up the mood a little bit. Those kind of rich browns, oranges, reds, you know, the kind of thing. I've got 6 different inks. Let's test them out on some 100 GSM Clairefontaine paper. So I use loose leaf paper for this that I then cut down to size and punch a hole in and just round the edges so that I can fit it onto a binder. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. The first one that I've got here is one of those nice little bottles from chez Herbin. It's Lait de Thé, which I think is basically the dregs of tea that you have left over when you've made loose leaf tea. You know, the brown little bits at the bottom. I'm just going to suck some up with this nice little dropper. This is a little dropper that comes with the Colorverse inks that I'll go through towards the end. But it is really handy in getting ink out of the smaller necked bottles. So brown, orange, a bit of yellow in this one. Lait de Thé. And this will develop as it dries, but initially it's not quite the tea stain that you would see on a piece of paper. It doesn't have that orangey red quality to it, but we've got some yellow starting to come through. It would look really nice in my Amber Pilot Custom 823, I think. Let's just pop that over here to dry. Next up we have Pilot Iroshizuku Momiji. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a real vibrant pink, verging on red. Momiji. Now, I don't actually know what Momiji is. If you know, let me know in the comments. Yeah, so it started off looking quite pink. This is actually coming out quite red. Maybe Momiji are berries. Again, I have no idea. Do let me know in the comments. But it's really quite saturated, and despite looking quite pink initially, is definitely more red, and I'm quite liking it as well. Next, we've got a Troublemaker ink. This is Autumn Rain Grey. I think this has some shimmer particles in it, so we'll give this a good shake. Make sure we get some of those suspended in the ink. It's always difficult when filling your pen or testing. Let's leave that undone. Testing out shimmer inks, because you find that the shimmer depends on whether you manage to catch any particles. The longer you leave it, which is quite difficult when you're doing a video and juggling multiple things, the longer that you leave it, the sooner those particles sink to the bottom by the time you actually get to dip your pen in or get to take a swatch. I think I got some on this one though, that's for sure. So Troublemaker, Autumn Rain Grey. it'll be interesting to see how this one develops as it dries, because that is quite black. It's almost a black with a green and some silvery blue shimmer particles in there. I definitely wouldn't call it grey at this stage, but let's see how it develops as it dries. Next up, we've got a Diamine Cult Pens exclusive Autumn Tones. Oh, this is a shimmer as well. And this is Murky Bucket. Brilliant name. Murky Bucket. I'm thinking of a rusty galvanized bucket that I had in my garden. After several years of just being sat there full of rain, had quite a yellowy orange oxidation to it. This one's quite thin, quite watery. Grey black tones to it with some yellowy gold shimmer suspended. Murky Bucket. Great name. Just going to hold this one up so you can see a little bit closer. So you can see it's really quite a wet ink. It's pooling and running quite a lot, with a beautiful gold shimmer sat on top. And although it's got some black suspended in there, it's going grey. Like gold shimmer gives it a nice yellowy tone to it. Next up onto Colorverse, we've got Methuselah tree. So I think Methuselah tree is a really old tree in California. It's kind of a browny red wood. So I'm expecting that this is a browny red colour. I think Methuselah is the name of a tree. I don't think it's actually the species of tree. Again, I have no idea what I'm talking about here, so do let me know in the comments. Oh wow, okay. Orangey red. Really bright. Gradually developing a bit darker, so whereas the Iroshizuku initially went on pink and then developed red, this is going on bright red and developing a bit of dark red orange. It's Colorverse. Just conscious as well, I didn't write Diamine Cult Pens on the Murky Bucket, but that is what that one is. I find it really challenging to write Colorverse without a U in there. And last but not least, we have the Ginkgo tree, again from Colorverse. And hats off here to Colorverse and to Chez Herbin, because they do these really nice small bottles. They're not quite sample vial. They're a little bit larger, but they're a great size for someone who likes to use a lot of different inks and doesn't necessarily want to commit every colour to a full 30, 50, 60 milliliter bottle. This is a rich burnt orange. That's probably the best way to describe this one, a burnt orange. It's not like the label. The label's quite brown, so I'm wondering if it's going to dry brown or whether it's going to stay this burnt orange colour. Again, Colorverse. Ginkgo tree. I'll have a quick tidy up and we'll let those dry for 5 minutes because some of them are still looking very wet. We'll come back and we'll have a look at what they look like when they're fully dried. All right, we're back. Some of these are a little bit wet still, and that's even after 5 minutes where I saturated the paper quite a bit, but most of them are there. I'll go through them in order, and at least that gives the Colorverse inks a little bit longer to dry. So starting with the Herbin, the Light of Day. So really nice, light, yellowy, toffee brown. Going to a darker, almost chestnut brown, which is actually quite nice. I was looking at this thinking that would really go quite nicely with my amber Pilot 823 custom, and the lighter there really does accentuate the gold, and the chestnut and the darker chestnut brown more towards the darker colour on the cap. So really nice complementary there. I can see myself using that in this exact pen. Then onto the Pilot Iroshizuku Momiji. And this one started off quite pink when it went on the page, and then started to go a little bit red to develop. And as it's dried, it's maybe gone back towards pink a little bit. It's not a fuchsia pink. It's definitely not that bright. It's got more of the red tone to it. It's got some shading on the outside where it's almost an orange, a burnt orange on the outside, which is really quite interesting. And then a pink with maybe a mottled red going through it as well. On the text, again, it's not bright pink. It's quite nicely balanced. So definitely an interesting one there. Troublemaker Autumn Rain. So this is a green base, it looks like, on the shading just on the edges, whereas a bit less saturated, but then really a deeper, darker greeny grey. It was almost black when it went on, and then with a bluey silver shimmer sat on top, which is coming through really nice in the writing as well. So again, quite nice. Is it an autumn rain grey? Not sure I would call it a grey. I guess that the shimmer particles on there do definitely give it a grey quality. Murky Bucket, love the name. Diamine Cult Pens exclusive. I've just added that onto the bottom and did that after the fact. So we're going maybe towards an Earl Grey kind of slightly browny grey towards the edges, darker browny grey on top with a lot of heavy gold shimmer in there as well. Again, the gold shimmer comes through nicely in the writing with more of a brown undertone to it. So yeah, another interesting one. Colorverse. This one is still wet, but Colorverse Methuselah tree. I really like this one. This is a deep red. It's very vibrant. It's very saturated around the edges. It's quite a wet ink, as you can see. It's verging on orange in shaded areas, but it's got that really nice quality where it's got darker fringing to it. It's got lighter shades, but it's a really nice dense red. In the writing, it comes out a little bit more orange, I guess, in a really wet writing pen. This will probably come through a bit more red and maybe get some of those shading tones coming through a bit more than it is here as well. Yeah, really like that one. The second Colorverse one is this burnt orange for Ginkgo tree. Towards the edges where it's less saturated, you get this really nice yellowy, kind of ambery orange shading, and then a much darker, richer orangey, burnt orange, autumn leaf orange is a good way of describing it, colour. And this, really, out of all of them, I think in terms of what looks like autumn to me, is really, well, if maybe you could put these two together. You've got the shades of brown and the shades of orange. If you could have some shades of dark green in there, then that really would complete the set. But yeah, if I was going to go, okay, what reminds me the most of autumn, it would definitely be this one. If I was going to go with which one I can see myself using, it's really difficult because I can see myself using that one in my Pilot Custom 823, but I really do like this red, and I can see myself using this one as well. The shimmers are really strong. Love a Troublemaker ink, and this one is a very nice shimmer. But yeah, I think these are some really great inks. I don't think that you could go wrong with any of these if you're looking for that kind of color palette. Definitely recommend trying any of these out. Links to the inks are in the description below. Also links to any of the equipment that I've used, the paper, the dip pen. Do let me know in the comments which of these inks is your favorite, but also let me know which of the inks in your collection is your favorite autumn color. Until next time, I'll see you again.